Minecraft 1.14's Village and Pillage update overhauled villages and villagers in pretty much every way possible, going as far as adding custom build styles for each biome. Unfortunately, a few biomes were left out, like the jungles and swamps. But lately, I've been getting a lot of requests to build a village in one biome in particular. That being said, my name is System Z, and here is my concept for villages on the Mooshroom Islands. If you enjoyed the video and want to support my channel and help me make videos in the future, consider becoming a member, where you'll be invited to my Minecraft and Discord servers, as well as have a chance to help me with new videos through exclusive community posts. Click the join button below for more information, and also thank you to those of you who have become a member since my last video. Alright everybody, hello and welcome again to a normal Minecraft village. Wait a minute, this is definitely not a mushroom village. Well, I haven't built it yet, so we're gonna do that kind of together in a small way. It's gonna be a little bit different than the past village videos I've done before. This is going to be a very different process, but we're gonna do it together. So, the first thing I want to do is analyze this normal plains biome village and see exactly what components go into a village so that we can best recreate it in the vanilla Minecraft decoration style. So, as you can see, we've got, of course, the generic buildings. We're going to take note of that. There's at least a couple of different shapes, so we've got to come up with a couple of different designs that will work well with a mushroom village. There's also a center point. In this case, it's a well, but I believe it can actually spawn as a couple of different things. I think you can do a bell, or at least there's a bell right here. You can do a well, and probably even a light source, maybe? I don't know, but I think I'll probably end up doing a bell, but I'll definitely have to see what I can do. The pathways are also all usually made of path blocks. I'm probably going to go with that as well, because from what I've tested, mycelium works really well against this color. So that will definitely be good. The spacing is very important to note as well. It looks like there aren't really any curved pathways. It's all in a square kind of tile format. And it looks like there's at least a couple of builds on each street. So we're going to have to keep that in mind. Of course, the farms as well. Animal pens I know are normal, but there are none in this case. So, yep, there they are. So that's essentially what we need to build a village. Now we need to find a location. And that's where the Mooshroom Island comes in. Now, I really don't think there's any other acceptable place to build a mushroom village, unless maybe it was a jungle. I feel like this is what a lot of people have been requesting. I have gotten a lot of comments for this very video, so we're definitely going to be building it in this spot. But before I can do it, I'm going to have to do a lot of terraforming, and I've actually been looking at this spot for quite some time, trying to mentally plan out the way this village is going to look, and I think we're probably going to do it right here in the center of this plains or this rolling hill down to the ocean. And I'm probably going to clean this up and flatten it up a bit. And I'd like to add some sort of centerpiece, like a river or just some way to break it up. So I'm thinking about adding a river that splits down the middle. I'm not sure if it'll look good yet though, but I think if I add in some stone and some other materials, it'll probably look good. Now, as far as the way the actual structures are going to look, because that's very important, I think I'm going to actually make use of the mushrooms here. As you can see, we've got two different types, and they also all vary in different sizes. I feel like we could use that to our advantage to create a pretty cool, unique looking village that still fits the architecture style of the game. But there are a little too many, so I'm going to have to clear it out and flatten up the land and try and get something good. So while I do that, let's take a look at a couple of different styles that may work for the actual village houses. Right in front of me. Alright, so right in front of me, I've got the two different types of mushrooms that spawn in the game, specifically in the mycelium biome. And what we need to do is utilize these two structures that generate, as well as all of the blocks that go into them, to create various different houses and features for our village. So if we go ahead and get some bone meal, we can actually grow them, and as you can see, they automatically grow into a structure. We can use this to our advantage, because in a way, they're already perfect for a house, especially if we combine them. We can do different shapes. It's actually an extremely modular design. Check this out. If we grab the stem, we could actually easily just build out and create different mushrooms on top of that and connect them in various different ways. And using that, I think we could probably come up with some very, very cool concepts. On top of that, if we get a couple of other blocks and mix them in with this one as probably the main house, we could actually create a very, very simple house that's definitely perfect as far as size goes for the villagers. I don't know if you would want to live in anything like this as a player, but villagers really don't need too much, so this is actually perfect. We could probably create a house using the red mushrooms and use the brown mushroom as a bit of an accent or a balcony. So what I'm going to do is come up with a couple of different designs that we can use throughout the village using those concepts. 2 hours later. Alright, so I've actually managed to create a good set of houses using nothing but the mushrooms and a couple of decoration blocks. And you know, I've got to say I'm really excited now. This is going to be very interesting. So what I want to do first is go over each design just in case you want to use them for your own builds, because honestly, if you find a mushroom in Minecraft, these are great starter homes and very, very easy to build. So what I want to do is show you the different designs and different features of the village, and then I'm going to go back to the location that we found and try and build it all, and then I'm going to give you a showcase of the final product. So obviously, the pathways are going to be path blocks. This is what it looks like with mycelium. I think it looks good. I'll probably end up using coarse dirt as well. That way we can actually put in some grass, which is very vibrant in the Mooshroom Island. So if we do that, we'll get a nice looking decoration, and some stone around the riverbeds. All that kind of stuff will look good as well. The centerpiece is going to be made out of this bell tower, which is essentially a tiny mushroom on top of the... or at least it's on top of a tiny mushroom, I should say. The bell tower is basically incorporated into the actual design of, well, a mushroom, and I think that looks great. And so is the farm. If you look here, we've got a stem underneath. This is basically a really lowered mushroom, a brown mushroom to be exact, where I've put some farmable blocks on top to do this wheat and carrot farm. And I actually think this is going to look really good on the purple mycelium, because the problem that I've found is that with how bland the actual island is, that will bring a little bit more color into it. Now this one is a little bit more like the one we saw a moment ago when we did our test build. I just haven't really done much to the interior, but using trapdoors I've created this lovely balcony, and I absolutely love this. Ladders are going to be the way that villagers would get up here. Obviously they can't use ladders, but we can just dream for the video. Now this one's a little bit more interesting. We combined the two. As you can see here on this layer, we've actually got a brown mushroom, whereas on this layer we've got the red mushroom. I don't really like it, but I could definitely see this being a great survival build, because you'd actually have a lot of storage space. You could use this for a farm. You could use this area for some actual storage, and then of course up here you could do something else. Or technically you could use this shape and just make this a enchantment room, which would be very interesting. So that's a really, really interesting. Plus we've got the chimney. Now this one's a little bit better. I like this because it combines the two, but it looks just a little bit more pleasing to the eye. They're just connected, and it uses this as sort of a safe space. It's like a platform house. It's a little bit more supported. So that's why I like that one. Same balcony design. But this one is where it gets really interesting. This is 3 different mushrooms. And that's where I was saying it's modular. If we use the stem design, we can create some really, really cool looking houses to essentially do this here. And they're actually 2 stories, or at least 2 rooms, which is fantastic. And it's going to be great when we need to add different decorations. Now this one is my personal favorite because I think it just looks amazing. We've got this lovely balcony, which in this case I think I'm going to put it right by the ocean to give the fishermen a lovely view of the ocean. I think that's going to be amazing. Same space as most of the other houses, but all in all, these are some really, really cool designed buildings, and I'm excited to get them all together into a village. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to tinker around. I'm going to try and build a village using these components, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do it. But first, I've got to build it. So I'll see you in just a moment. 2 hours. I'm just kidding. I used that joke already. I know what you're ready for, and that is the actual showcase of this village. And here it is in all of its glory. I know what you may be thinking, Z, the difference here is insane. I'm going to go and show a before and after picture. It's a very, very big change, but I think it has turned out amazing. I absolutely love the way this looks, and I want to go ahead and give you a tour by first showing off the river. Now, I like to show off a couple of building tips in my videos. If you don't know, that's kind of the main point of the channel, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. In this case, I wanted to show you how you can incorporate a river into a, biome like this and actually make it fit naturally. And the way I've done that is by adding stone. Stone is a great way to make it look like there's been prevent erosion and add a little bit more life to the area. And to make it look like it's an infinite river that's kind of coming out of this hill, I've just capped it around with some stone. And I think it looks great, especially with the very vibrant grass that goes with the coarse dirt. So that's kind of the main focal point here. I think with this, we're really able to make a good village surrounding it, because I feel like in villages, they would always build up around center points, much like that. So the center point, the actual center point, is of course the bell tower. That's to notify the villagers of an incoming pillager raid. But don't worry, villagers, that was just a test, but it doesn't look like they care. So exactly, you've seen this design before. We've definitely used this in the very center and built the village around it. I love this bridge. We've done this to get over the river. I think bridges are amazing, and the campfire block is perfect for bridges. And as you can see, we've essentially used the exact same designs that I just showed to create some really, really lovely villager houses. In this case, we've got the stone cutter to pretty much work with this profession, a nice bedroom up here. And as we explore around, you're going to see the different uses for each house to create different profession houses. And this is also the farm design. It turned out really, really good in my opinion. I absolutely love the way it looks, and the farming villagers definitely fit perfectly beside it. Now this one here, if I'm not mistaken, is a cauldron and brewing stand, so a cleric, I believe. I think that looks good. I feel like it could be different color beds too. You don't have to be limited to red. That's just, I don't know, it fits well with the mushroom block. Moving on though, let's not get stuck on too many houses because it will definitely take too long. We've got mooshrooms running around, which is definitely nice and aesthetically pleasing. Definitely made use of the chimneys with the campfire. If you want another building tip, this is a great way to bring life to a build. The particles that came from the campfire were the main reason I think it's been so successful and why so many people love it. We need more dynamic blocks like this to add more life to the game. Things like birds would be amazing as well. So this here is actually a piece that I didn't show yet. This is something I kind of improvised on the spot, and this is an animal pen that is basically a brown mushroom that's been carved out and turned into an animal feeding pen. So you can see back here, we've actually got a way to feed them, and then of course they are actually stored in here. So I think this is a very, very good design. Definitely fitting with the village as well. Overall, we've got a very good theme. We've got the brown from the brown mushrooms, the red from the red, all of the same stems, the pathways, and basically the same, blocks for each major feature. So I think that's why this works so well. So this house here, just as another example, is a great way to do a weaponsmith or something like that with a nice picture frame on the wall and a nice bedroom overall. And I really don't want to go through each house because if I do, it's going to get very boring. But this is, of course, an actual weaponsmith. And there's actually one more house I do want to show. This is where I decided to put the fisherman's house right here on the edge. I think this is amazing. Now, I don't really know if this fishing rod could go all the way down to the water, but hey, why not, right? He's living a happy life. But look at this view. This is just amazing, and I think this house turned out perfectly. I think this is a great way to build a village entirely. If you're looking for an interesting way to build a custom village, this is a very, very fun one. So if you find a mushroom island, I definitely recommend doing this. It's super, super fun. But before we end today's video, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about, and that is the addition of a druid. So if you don't know what a druid is essentially a character that is kind of dealing with organics, anything that's really natural to the world. So foliage, food, just natural plant life, things that would promote, nature, essentially. I feel like we need a druid in the game as far as a villager type. I think it would be amazing to be able to actually trade and get dirt or sand or any of those non-renewable resources, of course, at the cost of emeralds. I think that would be a fantastic way to, not have to rip off an entire desert just to get sand, and I think a lot of people would appreciate it. Now, obviously, that then allows us to farm those blocks, which could be bad, but I mean, you can kind of do that anyways because they generate infinitely, and a shovel is pretty easy to make. It just takes some time, but so does getting emeralds. So that's something interesting, just an idea I'd like you to take into consideration. Let me know what you think of that and this entire village in the comments down below. And I'd love to know if you'd like me to keep doing this format or if you'd rather me just do the showcases like I have done in the past. So that is essentially it for this video and this overall design, and this is what it would look like if there was a mooshroom village in Minecraft. That's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing and turning on notifications to be alerted whenever I next upload a video. Also, let me know what your opinions were of the village in this Mooshroom Island and whether or not you would like to see it added to the game. And like I said, that's going to be it for today. My name has been System Z. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.